we are in the messy middle. If this video came across your timeline, your YouTube, don't ever stop fighting to become the healed version of yourself. I say that half jokingly because you're never really healed. We heal every single day. I had to fight through so much external noise in order to get to the person I am today. I had to fight through people telling me that I was egotistic, selfish, problematic, and I still to this day, in my current reality, face some lingering residue of others placing that judgment. I literally feel like I have to reintroduce myself. I just watched so many of my YouTube videos to see where I was as a person, what I was filming. What a difference. And I think that's just the beauty of YouTube. And my last video was 4 months ago. I do not feel like I know who that girl was, but I also know how she felt, how she got to the point where I am right now. I am the hotter version of that girl inside and out. Not to be cocky, but I just worked so hard to get to this point. I've been trying to give my YouTube side to TikTok and Instagram for so long, and it's just not appreciated there. I don't even know, like, something about this camera is so intimidating right now. I have not picked it up in so long. I've had to figure out all this by myself with not having great examples around. I was not always around the best people. I was not always the best person. When I was doing well on YouTube, I wasn't even in the best mental state, and I could so tell. You could tell a lot about a person just by what they're bringing energetically. Another lesson that I'm learning this week is that I taught people how to treat me because I wasn't even treating myself well. I didn't have the self-respect to treat myself well or defend myself or know when not to accept something. And that's obviously just like through trauma and fear and just not being secure in yourself and a bunch of all other reasons. I've always wanted to take my channel in this type of direction, but I never ever felt like I was even at the point where I can talk about things because it was from ego and it wasn't from truth. I have felt this nudge to talk on camera for so long and to finally start. I already have a basis and a foundation of people. I'm not sure what they're here for. I always yapped on my YouTube channels. I've always yapped in the middle of the videos, but I never ever just solely started posting because I just wanted to yap on camera and I wanted to help others and just say my truth. I have felt nudged to completely start YouTube to the point where things that were working on my channels before are no longer working, and then I was like, okay, it's so much easier just to talk to my phone, edit it really quickly and post it. And today my metrics were so shit and I was so excited for the day. And usually when I have good energy and I'm posting things, they get a good amount of views, they get a good amount of sales if I'm doing TikTok shop. No, plummeted. And I have a new profound personal relationship with God, and I have been praying to God and I've been asking, what do I do? What platform? Like, this is, I know that I'm made to do this. I was in the zone. I was finally like talking right now. These videos are obviously going to get better. I didn't even realize how much of a difference that girl that was on this channel was. I truthfully feel like, what was that video? What am I getting? I'm getting, the old Taylor's dead. Looking at my videos, I still see me in her, but like I literally don't even, I'm not that person. So much growth that I have not given myself credit for because healing is not linear, and that's why this video is pretty much called The Messy Middle of Healing, because you don't even realize how much you have accomplished because your standards are so high. You know, like sometimes the thing you want in our heads are hard to attain, but it's really just our limiting beliefs, and that is something I'm rewiring time and time again, and it's such a learning process. I am fully manifesting a car with a sunroof because then the sun peeks in and I won't have to deal with this type of lighting. But I'm so grateful for my car because this has been my super safe space. There's this song, I have Spotify now because Apple, it glitched 1 month and I lost all my music. I found that very like weird of it to happen. I was so sad, but then I just realized like I don't even like all the same music anymore either. But this song from my Apple, I bought the whole Drake album, and I think I probably bought some Party Next Door songs or something because that's the only thing that's available on Apple now. And what keeps coming up is Party Next Door, Break from Toronto. At first I was just like, oh, like I love the song when it came out. I loved the song as I was growing up when I was younger, but now I'm starting to think it's like a message, to be honest. It's like very symbolic because Party Next Door's Break from Toronto. I feel like I need a break from my hometown. I need a break from this environment at the very least. I need a break from living where I live. I had to put you guys down here because it's starting to become like after the 9 to 5 rush, to be honest. But healing is not glamorous. It's something that I've been afraid to do for so long, but I know someone out there is going to need to hear this because nobody really posts from the messy middle, and the messy middle is not always messy. I used to walk on eggshells every single day, and I would call it normal, and I still catch myself doing that. I don't want that to be my normal anymore because it should not be. There should be no power dynamics. You should not feel unsafe in your body unless there's an actual situation making you feel unsafe. That is what our fight or flight is for. I'm in this weird space where I feel so lost, but I'm the most at peace I've ever been. So it's almost like I'm finding contentness in this, even though I have moments of freaking out. And I know the people that are doing the work and they're in the messy middle, it could feel really lonely because you're like, oh my God, everybody knows what they're doing with their life goals and they're actually getting to them. But actually some of us are just like you. Some of us are in the messy middle and we are just taking it day by day. And if you finally feel safe for the first time in your life because you're allowing yourself to, and you're putting down boundaries and you're learning all the things that you've done wrong to others, but not only to others, most importantly to yourself, I am so grateful and happy that you're doing that. It is so hard to love yourself and put yourself first when other people make you feel like you cannot do that. Healing is unlearning what made you feel so unsafe for so long. If you've ever felt like you're finally free, but you're also floating in this void of unsure, uncertainty, and just like, what the There are days that are beautiful. There are days that I'm like, I'm so happy, I love life, I don't care. Every single day you're gonna feel gratitude, you're gonna have to pull yourself out of a lot. But no, everybody talks about before healing and everybody talks about, nobody's ever healed. So like pretty much after healing, when we're at the point where we're in that different timeline and we're not in the middle of one foot in one timeline and one foot in the other. I want people to genuinely feel safe about being in the messy middle, that there are more people out there that are going through this. If you don't understand what's going on, because for a while I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm failing, I'm not healing. And I picked up the camera and I was already gonna film, and immediately I was like, okay, I need to get like ready for this. Like, let me look at my other videos, like, let me see what I used to do. No wonder I haven't been resonating with YouTube for so long. I needed to get into myself. I need to come home to myself, at least home, what home feels like right now for me. And I'm nothing like her, so no wonder I like feel so intimidated with this damn camera, because I'm literally not going to do the videos just like her. There was a lot of truth, but then that girl was very hurt. And not to say that I won't come on here and be talking about the hurt that I'm going through, but I do things more out of love now, and that's how you know you're healing. You're doing things more out of love now. You don't have any like, I can't even speak on it because healing is so complex, but I have a big feeling that I still get angry. I'm human, and I'm not to say you won't get angry, but I have a feeling I have passed the anger stage and the just projection, and I just want to grow immediately, and I just want to know how to move on, and just I don't enjoy feeling like how I used to feel or how I used to react at things, which were so from a source of not being emotionally regulated. And then when you engage with people in your life that once were like you, like the old you, before you started this healing process, you realize how many other people and adults are emotionally regulated in the world too, and you just start feeling so sad for them because they're over here thinking that they hate you and that they're angry at you, but their inner child is just crying. If you're unsure of who you even are without the chaos, this video is so for you. It took me a very long time before I realized that I was in the messy middle, and thankfully I do have people that are also into the healing space and not just the toxic positivity that I'm able to reflect with, because I genuinely would not know who to talk to other than people that come up on YouTube and on my timeline on TikTok. I'm here to be another vessel, and I'm here to be another person to make others feel less alone, speak in my truth, finally be me on the internet and actually not care. A lot of this had to do with my healing and inner shadow work, trying to lose the perception of like people that are not paying my bills and that are not even, that don't even want the best for me if they're sitting here judging me on the internet. It's time to finally be me. It's time to finally be consistent in a way that is easy because it is in my truth. I'm in this exact space right now. I'm not sitting here telling you I'm going to teach you. I'm sitting here telling you I'm going to be here for you. I'm going to be that space that makes you feel safe. There are things that I will talk about that are solely for being there for others, but my channel is very in the becoming, very in the in-between. I'm not in a space where I'm teaching. I'm in a space where I'm literally channeling what I'm also going through as well, so that others feel less alone online. I have probably tried to heal about like 70,000 times in my life. I was always shut the fuck down by people telling me I'm immature, telling me that I'm crazy. I am still getting told that people that should not be saying these things to me because of their dynamic in my life, I'm still getting told I'm crazy, that I'm this, I'm that, I'm spiraling. Like, I'm spiraling, but in the best way possible, because I'm actually growing. I am so grateful for YouTube, because I can actually see that I grew, even just from my last post, which was 4 months ago. That is not even that long ago. Some people, you meet them years later and they're the same. My goal is always to become the better version of myself, but also not put pressure on what the best is. I just want to talk about what it feels like to finally heal your nervous system. It feels like you're finally learning how to exhale. I haven't learned what my nervous system felt like when it's calm. The reason why a lot of people start into the healing journey, because we all want to be better. It doesn't always feel like peace. Sometimes it feels like discomfort, uncomfortable. When you do shadow work and when you look in the mirror and see what you've been dealing with, see how you are as a person, see how maybe you treat others and yourself, it's too painful to even think about or look at sometimes. So it takes some people a very long time to even get on that path. Some may never get on that path and they just don't do it in this lifetime. But if you're here and you're actually doing the work, I'm so proud of you. The most discomforting thing about this process is pulling away from the people that you love, because you finally love yourself more. It is so crazy. It is so insane. I cannot believe this. Like, this has been something, like, before I used to do it out of avoidance because I didn't want to deal with it. Like, I knew the person wasn't treating me well, but I would let it just get to the point where it's like, oh, it's too much, like, you need to get out of my life. Now I do it with, like, I make sure that I communicate my needs, just to communicate, to try to get to a compromise. And if this person is not going to compromise, and this has been a few times in my life already. The one thing that I was super scared of was people projecting onto me when I would talk online and thinking everything is about them. But I have lived, I swear to you, because of like how complex my life has been, but I'm also so grateful for everything. A bitch has been through a lot, literally lived so many lives in such a short time period. I'm 25 currently. After I put down a boundary, I have found myself crying after putting down a boundary so many times. And I'm just like, but this is good for me, but it feels so wrong. Like, I can't. Now I'm getting used to the silence and now I'm craving it more. But when it was finally silent, because I was so used to chaos, I thought something was wrong. I thought I wasn't doing enough with my life. Like, all of these little things that I've gotten told growing up from other people, them passing down their limiting beliefs to me, I was just like, oh my gosh, yes, it is too silent, it's too quiet. Like, what's wrong? Like, I have to figure out what's wrong. It's very tough to get adjusted to what you deserve and what you should be living like and treating yourself like, and what your new life looks like for you after not being healed for so long. Healing can also be finally saying no when you're a yes person, literally shaking, putting down a boundary, saying no to the person, or finally doing what's best for you because the person is so reactive. It's not always pretty, but it's so worth it. And to my girlies that are also in the messy middle, or that want to even get onto the healing process, all of this has a happy ending. Life is not linear, so it's not like anybody, if you compare yourself to other people, nobody else has it better, nobody else has it worse. Everybody goes through the same emotions and feelings in different ways. Some may handle it better than others, but everybody has these roller coaster of emotions. You just get better at regulating your emotions so that it doesn't always become a roller coaster. When you have a bad day, it's not as intense. There's one thing that I wanted to talk about that has been pretty difficult for me my whole life and has actually delayed me getting into a healing process and really getting things started. I'm gonna hold the camera. I know I'm gonna be in different angles this whole video, but I don't know, I wasn't feeling that angle. But I know people out there have had to set a boundary with someone, and you know, as soon as you set the boundary, you're gonna become a villain. I'm not even talking about one particular person, because I swear to you, because of my past and what I have accepted, every time I set a boundary with someone, I'm finally not allowing people like this into my life, but that because of how long I was this way and just allowed people to treat me in ways that I really didn't deserve, and I always would think something was wrong with me because I was not doing the inner work within myself, and I feel so bad for that girl. But I also, you know, the lessons came on purpose and they happen for a reason. I never ever pity myself. I kind of just say, thank God I know now. I don't want to shame myself into that experience. I'll be like, thank God I know now. And it's kind of been a little thing that I've been doing. I wanted to bring this up because this is actually has been a big part of my healing process of the messy middle that I know others can relate to. This is low-key a form of adult bullying, I swear. Yeah, you put a boundary, you say this doesn't work for me anymore, whichever way you set that boundary, whether it's verbal or you just move on with your life, make choices that work best suit you. Every single time, man. I have been accepting people like this in my life because I was also a reflection of them in some way. A lot of these experiences of me putting down a boundary with people end up with them spiraling, lashing out. I just never felt like being mean to someone was nice, so I never would put down boundaries when I wasn't healed, or like when I wasn't in this process of actually learning and growing. I would always try to put the boundary in the best way possible. I can say it about myself that I always knew how to do that. Still at 25, like I've experienced this while going through this healing process, because you grow and then you no longer want others who are not willing to compromise or who are committed to mistreating you around, right? So no hard feelings or anything, but you just want to move on, and it always ends up like that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like you kind of like wake up when when you start waking up and you start like, wow, I was around this and I used to treat myself like this and I used to let this person do this. You are just like, wow, you're just like, this is not an adult response, and it is a form of adult bullying in my opinion. Like I'm still like the same kind of reactions from high school when I used to set boundaries are like kind of the same reactions I'm getting in my 20s. I couldn't keep betraying myself just to avoid people's reactions, and I was doing that for a very long time, and unfortunately went into my 20s. But I'm so glad I know now. Thank God I know now. I love that saying. What I've learned is that when someone's used to you abandoning yourself because you want to keep the peace, your peace becomes a threat the second you stop doing that. Their reaction is not your burden to carry. I always say this, and I have to consistently say this one out loud too. They're pretty much reacting to the loss of control or to the old version of you that no longer tolerates the dynamic. You would think you feel empowered and you feel like, wow, I'm doing something well for myself, but I don't ever. Now I'm starting to, but when I first started putting boundaries down and just kind of refining my life and seeing who fits and who doesn't, and you know, I'm still getting to know myself, and I'm still like kind of shocked at what I'm putting myself through. Like the last thing I want to do is keep the wrong people around me. And then I just remembered, like, the version of me that I'm becoming does not have to stay in rooms that I dim myself in to feel safe, and I've been doing that for such a long time. And this right here may seem like common sense, but it is such a big revelation. My camera is dying and I cannot believe that I picked up this camera. I'm so excited to edit this and finally upload this. I love you guys. This should be fairly easy to just post a lot on here, because speaking of my truth is not something that has to be prepared. And I hope this helps someone. I love you, love you, love you. I will have a better setup next time. Bye, and see you in the next video.